Hello, hello. Y'all, I have the hiccups. I'm just gonna say it right at the top. I tried to do some deep breathing. I tried to just like whatever, get myself ready for this. But if I've got a hiccup or two, then I've got a hiccup or two, whatever. We are people. Welcome to the daily transmission. It is Monday, March 27th, 2023. It is Moon Day. That means it is the day of Cancer. This is good vibes, people. This is a day for taking care of yourself. I have a completely packed week this week, except for today. If I can help it, I try to make Mondays my day off, my day to take care of myself, my day to process anything that needs to be processed emotionally, and just do what I need to do to get myself supported through the rest of the week. Now we have some pretty interesting things going on. I did make a post yesterday about the Mars and Cancer transit. So if you want to check that out, it is on my Substack. Now I am, for those of you who are following along on the screen, you can check this out either on twitch.tv/Mama Capricorn with an underscore if you're here catching me live, or maybe you are watching this on the replay and you want to head on over to YouTube or to Spotify because the video version is there as well. Or maybe you just want to listen to me talk. We are looking at the transits of the day. Now, with it being a moon day, with this being a day that already is all about emotionally nurturing and asking yourself, like, what do I require to be supported? Mars in Cancer here is just giving this a nice energetic boost. We're already being motivated to take a look at where we need to be taking care of ourselves. And then I guess I didn't mention this on Friday, and I could have because it was direct yesterday, but we had Mercury come into conjunction with Chiron. Mercury is going to be coming in conjunction with Jupiter tomorrow. So we have had a lot going on with Jupiter and Chiron lately, haven't we? We had them come in conjunction themselves. We had Venus come in conjunction with both of them. And so we've been in like this month or so long portal of examining where we are maybe lacking in self-belief, or where we are lacking in belief for our it really depends on where this lands for you. I guess I always think of this in the context of the 11th house and social communities and things like that, because I'm a Gemini rising. So that puts Aries in my 11th house. But wherever this is for you, you're going to want to take a look at the house where Aries is ruling for you. And if you've been hanging out with me for the last month, you should be pretty familiar with that area by now. But with Mercury coming into conjunction with these two placements, and hear me too, this is like Mercury coming in conjunction with Jupiter. This is going to happen tomorrow because Jupiter is almost done in Aries. Jupiter will be in Taurus, like, no, not next month, the month after, which may, I don't even know, y'all. Just like buckle up. Like, I'm not ready to make any like hard and fast predictions quite this second because things just seem to be happening so fast. But I do think May will be interesting, especially when it comes to the material world, the financial world, May and June. But with that said, we've been doing all of this examining of what it is that we require to be supported, what it is that makes us feel really, really good, and what we need to believe in again, right? If we are hurting, if we are going to heal something, if we are going to grow through this experience, then we need to believe in ourselves again. We need to believe in our like highest and greatest good again. And so hopefully we've been doing the work, the inner work to process that, and you haven't just been disassociating into your day-to-day tasks. If you've been disassociating into your day-to-day tasks, be very mindful of your interactions today and maybe even yesterday, because things could have been a little dicey, right? Not that you can go back in time and change how you dealt with things yesterday, but maybe you can, smooth things over today. If you are hearing me now and you're like, oh shit, I really should have handled that like with more grace yesterday. Mercury coming in conjunction with Chiron and Jupiter after all of this other like Jupiter Chiron stuff we've had going on over in Aries. It's like You've been spending all of this time thinking about it, and now you're actually ready to talk about it. You're actually ready to share it. I mean, plus we've got Mars in Cancer, and then today we've got a Gemini moon. All of this is a really great cosmic recipe for sharing, for opening up conversations, especially with people who maybe you feel like you've got things that are like unresolved, whether that's on your end, whether that's on their end, and just opening up space for folks to like, for you to share how you're really feeling, right? Well, this is how I was feeling, but taking ownership of your feelings, not oh, you made me feel, no, because that's not going to get anybody anywhere. It's, I felt like this, I felt sad when this happened. Can we talk about that? Like, can we, without judgment, without pointing fingers. And I know that can be really hard. Like, it's so easy to say things like this in a more like broad, generalized context when I'm not talking to anybody about any one particular situation. But I know, there are like, nobody's telling you when it's the right time for you to address something or like when it's time to heal something. But I also want folks to recognize that like healing is not the absence of the wound. Okay. So like, I think that our like Western minds and like, I have a headache and then I take my ibuprofen and I don't have my headache anymore. It's like the absence of the pain. Where bigger wounds, like serious wounds, and especially emotional wounding, it's not going to be like that. It's not, I was throwing up one day and now I'm not throwing up. And so I'm better, right? I'm healed. No, it's like, even if you were like, you probably still have like a germ, a bug, an antibody, right? Your white blood cell count is really, there is some change that has happened, or there's something that's going on that maybe you just can't see, you're not as aware of. But healing is not the absence of the pain or like the erasing of the wound. Healing comes through being able to look at that wound and without attachment to it, I guess, is the way that I perceive this. This is my own perception of what it feels like to heal something that is like big, like big, meaningful, like could be an emotional, debilitating moment in my life. Things like my dad dying, us having unresolved conflict before he died. The last thing I said to my father was, I hate you and I hope you die. Cool. Super cool. Right. Loved carrying that around as a 14-year-old. It's like, that's never not going to be what happened. That's all that is what happened. But it's about changing the way that I relate to that moment. Like I can't continue to carry around guilt. I can't continue to carry around shame. I was 14 and I was hurting and my father had disappointed me, and there's not really that much more to it. He was in pain and he was suffering in his own respect, and that sucks too, and that's a big, like 8th house, like level serious kind of wound. And it may be that serious and it might be not so serious at all. But just what I really want to make clear is like, we're never going to reach a point, like I'm never going to reach a point in my life where that didn't happen, right? There's never going to be a point of like spiritual or emotional healing, or there's no amount of conversation, no amount of talk therapy, hypnotherapy, no pill I can take. There's nothing that I can do that will make that experience not have happened. And so it's releasing the expectation that healing equals sparkles, rainbows, and like an absence of all painful experience. And recognizing that healing can mean just being able to look at what happened without it hurting so fucking much, without it like crushing your soul. And even if it's just like incremental, it's not going to be like open gaping wound to like fully healed like white scar, you know. The depth of the wound, the seriousness of the wound, the amount of energy and attention you're giving to the healing process, and also the amount of belief that you have in the healing process. Like if you are committed to thinking like, nope, I'm going to be suffering my entire life because that thing happened, you are. And I'm not saying that you're entirely like, oh, you can just like sweep it under the rug, like that didn't happen. No, that's definitely not it. Dissociating and ignoring the pain is not the answer. We have to process it, but we process it in a healthy way. We process it without attaching to it. We process it without it taking up my whole life, my whole day, and without making it mean something about me. We can process it a little bit if we need to and put it on the shelf and come back to it later. But it's really about that incremental growth and that incremental process, and being able to say to yourself, like, I am healing. I am in the process of healing, and it is okay. However long this takes is however long it takes. But I can't help but come back to this concept, like, please release yourself from the expectation or the belief that healing, especially a deep emotional wound or a deep spiritual wound, anything like that, where you are like still carrying something around, then this is like Chiron level pain. It's never going to be like an ibuprofen kind of situation. You're never going to like, oh, I just like don't feel like, oh, that just like never happened. It's not, unfortunately, that's just like not the case. And if you want to think about it in a very like physical sense, if your mind works with like pictures and analogies better than words, I want you to just like do a little body scan. And I have this teeny little scar on my pinky, and I cut my finger on a can, on like a can of soup when I was like 9 or 10 maybe. And it wasn't a big wound. It's not like I needed stitches or anything, but I still have the scar. Oh, there it is. It's right there. I still have the scar. There it is. It happened. It is a thing that happened. Am I still sitting here like, oh, my finger, my finger, my finger. Oh, it's never going to heal. No. I'm not like, oh, well, the scar is there, so that must mean there's something still in it. I need to like cut it open and clean it out again. No. How many times have you done this? How many times do you need to do this? Like sometimes there's nothing more in there. And the lesson is we need to move forward, and I can't tell you where you're at in your journey or what that looks like, or you know what I mean? I'm just here to offer different perspective. I'm just here to maybe, right, say something that'll, make that little like give you permission to move forward, give you permission to move on, or to stay in your shit and address it because you're realizing, oh, I've just like, I don't know, like half-ass bandaged myself up and expected that to do the job. Nope, that's not going to do it either. So, and nobody can tell you, like I can't tell you, your therapist can't tell you, your partner can't tell you, nobody can tell you when you're ready or when you're done or when it's time to move forward. It's all subjective. But what I will say is that today's energy makes it a really, really good day for just talking about it, for just talking about your feelings, even if it's not in a very emotional, I know that sounds so weird, to talk about your feelings in an unemotional way. I just mean like, this doesn't have to be such a dramatic situation. It doesn't have to be something where we're just like sobbing and just like a sniffling mess and we're feeling all our feelings. Like this is not like a DMT trip. Like we're not on ayahuasca here. Like this is just like, hey, best friend, hey, partner, hey, someone I trust and feel is on my team and I can share my emotions with freely. Like, we want to get lunch or something. Like, I don't know. I just want to like talk today and just like let the conversation evolve. It doesn't have to be about necessarily anything serious. It can be about things that are serious, but I just would really, I think that more of us need to do more regular talking about our feelings. Actually, how many people have watched Love is Blind, this new season, season 4? I am living for these men. The women are chaotic. We're not going to talk about them right now, but these men are having just the most open, natural conversations with each other about their feelings, not just with their women, not just privately, not just to the camera. Like, they're talking to each other about their insecurities and their past and their projections and the way that they feel that they need to show up and why. And it's really like, I'm very excited watching this. And that, I think, is actually perfect energy for today. It's like, how can we make talking about our feelings more normal and more casual and less something that has to be done just behind closed doors, like in therapy? Can we maybe not compartmentalize talking about our feelings? Now, please hear me, like, talking about your feelings and being clear and just honest, transparent about the way that you're feeling. Like, I'm just, like last week, there were a couple of days where I let you know, like, y'all, I am not feeling myself today. I'm not feeling anything today. Like, I want to just go back to bed, right? Being on, that's not necessarily the same thing as like when you're in talk therapy and you are like crying about your feelings and you're processing something, right? Processing something deeper and really going there. And that can be something that's done with your journal or with your therapist, with your coach, with who, right? Behind closed doors, whatever, if that's something that makes you feel better. But I do think that part of the way that we free ourselves from the burden of our, like, how immense our emotions can be sometimes, and especially like when it comes to the bigger stuff, like, I was on Reddit yesterday and this person, like, there's a difference between having like love for someone or something, or like I love my child and I do my best to practice and being not attached to my child and to anybody, to anything, right? Because like, it's all, I can't control any of this. Like, I cannot, like, you think you can control this. That's a fucking joke. People can leave, people can die, people can disappear. Like, literally, like, the possibilities are endless. Your house could burn down. Like, you don't own anything. Like, none of this is real. Like, you could die. Like, so for me, it's like appreciating everything in the moment. Like, I have so much love for this. But if I get attached to it, if I attach myself, if I try to control it, if I try to control you, if I try to make the number of followers that I have mean something, like, I don't know, just like our possessions, our relationships, if we try to like hold, like, that's when we're going to get into trouble. And I feel the same way about our feelings. Like, can we be more of a witness to our feelings? Can we be more of a witness even to our own story, rather than like trying to control it and make it mean something and having it be such like a pressure and a burden that we're carrying all by ourselves? Like, if we just like talked a little bit more and shared a little bit more, maybe it wouldn't be so heavy all the time. I don't know. Just some thoughts, just some things, just some Gemini Moon thoughts. By the way, speaking of Love is Blind and Gemini, if Zach is not, he's an Aries, allegedly. That's fine. He can be an Aries. You're allowed to have your birthday, dude. But if he doesn't have a fuckload of third house placements, or if he doesn't have other like Gemini placements, like, I'm gonna quit my job, because he is for sure Gemini, Mercury dominant. That guy, like, the first 2 episodes, all he was doing was talking about, I don't know, just he reads very Gemini to me, and this is not a bad thing, friends. As a Gemini rising, we love the Gemini energy. It is what it is. Anyway, y'all, let's see. Maybe from what I've been saying already, like, you have something in mind. You're like, oh my gosh, I've been processing this for like weeks now, and I'm ready to get it off my chest. Like, I've processed this emotionally, I've processed this internally, and I have the right words, and I know what to say, and I'm ready to like have a conversation about this now. Hopefully, this is stirring something up for you and you're like, oh, hell yeah, like I get it. If you need an extra clue, go look for the house where Aries is in your chart. So mine, for example, is in the 11th house, like I said. So this is all about community, social groups. Like I'm doing a speaking engagement in a couple of weeks here in Tampa, or actually it's over in St. Pete. And so I have been thinking that I should like invite people from my yoga studio, or I should invite my yoga teacher training class. And I have transparently all been getting super nervous about it and feeling like a kid who's nervous to invite like people to their birthday party. Cause like, what if nobody shows up to the party? But I've been processing this. I've been processing a lot of the feelings that I've had around, friendship and community and social groups and hierarchy and like all kinds of things like that. And so I feel like even like the astrology, I was thinking about this morning, like, hey, you should like send a text to your YTT fam. Like you should invite them to the event on the 8th. So that's my assignment, and I'm saying it out loud now, and y'all can hold me accountable. I'll share with you the text message tomorrow. But I just would like to, hopefully this gives you a little bit of astrological courage as well. Because whatever it is that you've been processing, like your feelings deserve to breathe. And you deserve to have things processed. You deserve to be able to move forward. So use that Gemini moon to your advantage, use these Mercurian conjunctions to your advantage, have those conversations, and know that you are safe, and that when you have these conversations, if your emotions and like, right, trauma dumping is not the same thing as like sharing emotions. If you're trauma dumping on people without permission, like maybe like take a step back and take a look at yourself. But if you are sharing your emotions in a healthy, responsible way with someone that you feel is like someone who's supposed to be in your corner, like a good friend or your partner or whatever, and like for whatever reason, it's like disrespected or like offset, like I know that I have like my stepmom, like God bless her, but she just like cannot have an emotional conversation to save her life. Like there is just zero emotional depth. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if it's her being afraid of having emotional conversations or if it's just like literally like an incapable, like she's incapable. I just really don't know. I don't care. Like I don't need to judge it. It's just not, but I'm not going to go there for an emotional connection. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go to her to try to have these conversations or to try to, right, speak openly about my emotions, because I know they're going to be deflected, disrespected, overlooked, like ignored, and it's not because there's anything wrong with me or my emotions or the way that I'm expressing. This is their inability to have this conversation, and that's not for me to fix or figure out or make my problem. I'm just going to go to somebody else. Okay, so this might also be a good lesson for you today, is when you go to talk, right, transparently about the way that you feel, the way that you think, what you'd like to do and believe in again. And if you share this and you're put down, deflected, right, I categorize people, well, I guess this, whatever, as you're in a growth state, as you're growing, you're going to find that the people in your life take on 3 different roles. Either the cheerleader, like they're happy for you and your growth, but they're like not trying to come like get on the, yoga train or whatever. The cheerleaders, the haters, and I don't even remember, some sideline team play, something like that. I don't remember. I wrote it in my book in like 2018. But it's essentially, right, there are people who are going to like want to support you. There are going to be people who like want whatever it is that you're doing. And they're like, oh my gosh, like you have grown so much. Like I want in, like, what are you reading? Where are you going? Like, tell me everything. And then there are going to be people who like are going to be haters and they couldn't give a fuck less. And they're going to doubt you because they're remembering a past version of you or whatever. They're in their own shit. And so as you go and you have these conversations today, I would encourage you to not like attach to what label or try to shift them into a different category, but like, where do these people fall in? Are they a supporter? Are they someone who like wants to see you win? Are they a cheerleader for you? You know, maybe they're not trying to come to yoga with you or like trying to take this class with you, but they're happy for you and they want to see you win. Are they someone who wants to come like, yes, like let's grow together? Or are they someone who's a fucking hater and they're just like not worth your time right now? And especially not when it comes to stuff like this. Like, we cannot make people change, but we can change the way that we interact. Okay. So lots of things to consider today. Happy Mars and fucking Cancer. Oh my God, I'm so done with Mars and Gemini. Oh my goodness. I wrote a post about it on Substack. I'm not going to repeat it. You can just go check it out at the link in my bio. And we'll be back tomorrow for another transmission, friends. I love y'all. Happy Monday. Happy Moon Day. I hope that you have a beautiful day and I will talk to you later. Bye.